Now, you've just finished watching episode 1 of 1,000 Tomorrows, and you might be tempted to think that the Bible study will be about anger. And we're going to talk about anger for sure, but anger brings about something else. It brings about bitterness. And bitterness is something that will literally strangle the life out of you. I'm Karen Kingsbury, the author of 1,000 Tomorrows, and I'm so glad that you and your small group could be here today to talk about this. This is where we go deeper. It's what I love to do after I watch a great show with somebody that I love, is to sit around, talk about it, and go deeper and see what is it that God is trying to speak to me through the story. And in this case, on episode 1, we learn that Cody is not only angry, he's holding tight to his anger. And he kind of takes that anger out when he's on the back of a bull. For those 8 seconds, he can almost feel the tangible rage inside of him. We don't quite know exactly what it is, something about his dad. We aren't sure exactly what happened, but Cody is holding on to it. And we're tempted to do that, right? We're tempted to hold on to our anger and think it's something that's going to help us. That's what Cody thinks. We have words that we even use in our society, right? We say, oh, he harbors a grudge, or they hold on to that unforgiveness. And what is that like? Picture that. So harboring a grudge means I'm going to take my grudge and my anger and I'm going to put it into a safe place where nobody can touch it. And what happens is we think that it's going to give us some power over that person that hurt us, but instead it starts to harden our hearts. And that is not what we want. It's not what God has for us. And that's the thing with unforgiveness and with anger and rage. It harms us. It starts to put walls up around us. And God didn't want us to live like that. I mean, he says to keep short lists, right? And to love others and to let go of these things so that we can be sensitive to his spirit and to his teaching. So as you looked at this episode, as you watched it, you probably saw how, again, Cody was this person who was bigger than life. And he could get on the back of a bull and tackle it for 8 seconds because of his anger. But his mom is the one that starts to speak life into him and say, look, your anger, it's going to destroy you. And that's when Cody has his sort of smart, response where he says, oh no, Mom, you have no idea how good being angry makes me. Well, it's not true. Anger doesn't make you better or stronger. It doesn't hurt the other person. It hurts you. You may actually have been harmed. And that's the thing, with anger is that usually in the case of Cody, it wasn't his fault. Like something happened when he was a child and his father left the family. You see glimpses of that in episode 1. That wasn't his fault. But holding on to the anger and letting it destroy him as a man, as a person, making him hard-hearted toward life and toward others, that's harmful. And his mom was right. I think about my mom and my dad and my life and the example they showed us about keeping short accounts. And that's what I'm encouraging you to do today. Like, take stock of your life. Who are the people in your life who have hurt you? I sometimes encourage people to, get a journal and write out your story, like just the outline of your story. The 3 things that hurt the most, or the 3 things that were the most joyful, or where you came in your story to know Jesus. If you have, if you haven't, then maybe this is that time where you come to know him. And so sort of take stock of your life and see, where are these places that I'm harboring some kind of anger, some kind of hurt, unforgiveness against someone else, because it's not going to change it. It's not going to make it go away by you holding on to that anger. It's time to really take a look at that. And maybe there's people in your life who are encouraging you to let it go. So this might be what God is calling you to do. Maybe today God is calling you to let go of that and to say, I don't care about the division there. I'm going to go past it. With God's help, I'm going to go around it or over it. And I'm actually going to find healing in this situation. For Cody, in 1,000 Tomorrows, his father starts to make an approach back to the family. He's sorry. He wants to come around. He wants to have a rekindling and redemption in the story and in the family that he broke. But Cody doesn't want anything to do with that. And maybe that's been you. Maybe you're the person that says, I don't want to forgive them. It's too much. Or maybe in your life, that person never did come around to apologize. Can we forgive those people? I think that's something that the Bible will give us some answers on as you look through the study today. It's not always that we're forgiving someone who's sorry, and it's sometimes that we don't want to forgive someone who is. The whole gamut, I can tell you that peace with Christ is only going to be found as you let those things go. As you truly forgive, it doesn't mean that you're going to let that person back into your life to harm you again if there's been abuse or something of that nature, but it does mean that you're going to walk your walk of life and your walk of faith, letting go of those things so that they don't harm you. Because God wants you to be free from anger. He wants you to be free from the bitterness and the grudge. He does not want you to harbor it. He wants you to give it to Him. Now, don't forget to join me next week. We are going to be talking about hurts and lifelong hurts and how we work through those. Get your friends, bring them together. They can catch up. Not a problem if they weren't with us today. This small group Bible study will be available for you each week for these 6 weeks and the 6 episodes of 1,000 Tomorrows. And when we're finished with it, you can start over again, because there's always a good chance for God to speak into your story wherever you're at in that moment, and to teach you to be able to let go of the things that are weighing you down.